Alright, against odds time. Playing some Force of Savagery in Modern. Scalding Tarn for our opponent. Cracks it. Hopefully this isn't turn 1 Delver. Alright, Certain Visions, not a Delver. That's fine. So let's just... Verdant Catacombs, crack it. Get a Swamp and Inquisition. Oh, this is Storm? Certain Vision, Sleight of Hand, Ascension, Manamorphose, Lightning Bolt. Yikes. I don't know if we can beat Storm. Seems like a bad matchup. Sacred Foundry, untapped. Do they have another one? Oh god, oh god, oh god. Ooh, oh god! Alright. Well, we decked our opponent right back with an Abrupt Decay. We're just gonna get rid of that right now. No sense in waiting around for something to happen. Certain Visions. So they're down to 2 Ascensions, which is good. Island. Gitaxian Probe, some Force of Savageries, a Hunted Horror, and overalls. Sleight of Hand, and Faithless Looting. Now our opponent is filtering like crazy. What do we get? Dismember, not exciting. Oh, I guess we just got an Overgrown Tomb and pass. Our hand is just not really doing anything. Thing in the Ice for our opponent. Well, let's kill that. Pay 2 life. Windswept Teeth. Alright, Force of Savagery. Do your thing, which is dying. So good at dying. Oh, crack Scalding Tarn. So they got a Lightning Bolt and an Unknown. Flashes back Faithless Looting. If they ever discard the Bolt, then we'll just play Virals. Discards 2 lands. Ooh, a Pack Rat. Alright, let's play Virals. They can kill it. There's not much we can do about it. But it does mean if we draw another land, then we can Pack Rat and it probably won't just die. Ooh, they found a Pyromancer's Ascension. Ugh. And then a Bolt. Now, Windswept Teeth, crack Windswept Teeth, get a Forest, crack Windswept Teeth, and just play Pack Rat. Pass the turn. If this was a turn earlier, I'd feel much better. But now they probably can just turn on this Pyromancer's Ascension and kill us somehow. So there's Sleight of Hand, gets counter on the Ascension. Lightning Bolts, our Pack Rat. Well, discard a Force of Savagery, get another Pack Rat. Manamorphose, so yeah, our opponent's probably just gonna win here. Opponent's doing their thing. I would scoop, but I kind of want to see if this is a real Storm deck, or if this is some weird Storm burn thing, like Pyromancer Ascension burn deck. They kill our Pack Rat, hit us, looting, and passes? Well, now we get a Lotleth Troll. Alright. Boom. Take that. I'm pretty sure this is all too little too late. Active Pyromancer Ascension almost always means death. Thought Scour, Thing in the Ice, Manamorphose Milled, Helix Thought Scour. This is like Pyromancer Ascension Burn. Another Ascension. Alright, let's scoop it up. I think we know enough, and we're definitely not going to win. Even if they don't kill us here, we don't have a fast enough clock. Abrupt Decays, Spell Bombs, Thoughtseize, Inquisition, Surgical Extractions, Worships, Scavenging Ooze. So we want to bring in a ton of cards. But we get to go down Dismembers, Painful Truth, Maelstrom Pulse, Ledgewalker, a Virals, a couple of Hunted Horrors, and maybe 3 Hunted Horrors. Be more of a control deck, or at least a disruptive deck. We have interesting pieces, but only 1 land. I think we got a mulligan. Alright, we'll keep this one. Verdant Catacombs, crack it. Get a Swamp and Inquisition. Certain Visions, Thing in the Ice, Thought Scour, Pyromancer Ascension, Manamorphose. We'll just take Pyromancer Ascension. We are going to need to draw another land, though. Opponent draws a Probe, plays a Probe. Flooded Strand, cracks it. Certain Visions, puts them both to the bottom. Well, let's just Nihil Spellbomb. Pass the turn. Sacred Foundry. Untap, down to 15, and Thing in the Ice? Yup. We really need a land. Worship, alright, we need to... Oh my god. This feels so bad. Crack Nihil Spellbomb. Just to draw a card, basically. Oh no. Pass the turn. That might be all she wrote. The problem is we're not seriously going to win with just 1 land. Could have thought seize the Thing in the Ice, but we still don't win unless we draw lands. Like, just getting rid of the Thing in the Ice is not going to save us. If they flip Thing in the Ice here, we pretty much just lose. Certain Visions, Manamorphose, and I guess that does it. I mean, even if we draw, we'd have to go land into Abrupt Decay, and even that isn't a guarantee, because we're taking 14 down to 5, and our opponent has a ton of burn spells. So yeah, that's the game. No lands for us. Disappointing. Alright, against odds, playing some Force of Savagery in Modern. So Godless Shrine, tapped, go. Forest for our opponent, and Noble High Art. Let's Ink Moth and Pack Rat. If our opponent paths the Pack Rat, it's actually not the end of the world, because then we get green mana and get to play other things. Stomping Grounds, if they bold it, that's a little worse. Actually, a lot worse. Blood Moon. Actually, that's that is not going to work out in our opponent's favor, because we have a swamp, so we can start making tokens anyway. Like, yes, it's annoying and it shuts down some of our stuff, but unless they can follow that up with a sweeper, Pack Rat's still gonna just take over. Oath of Nissa. Well, if this is double Moonwalkers, they don't have sweepers in the main, at least. Caryatid. Let's discard a Troll Static that we'll probably never get to cast. Swing with our Pack Rats. Opponent blocks, does not block. Well, we're gonna keep going. We're all in on Pack Rats. Discard Hunted Horror. Pump our Pack Rats to 3/3s. Play an Ink Moth. Pass the turn. Temple Garden. Untap down to 9. A Nahiri the Harbinger. What do they do with their Nahiri? Kills a rat. Well, yeah, let's just attack our opponent. Untap land Chandra could beat us. They only have one Chandra though. Alright. Let's stick to the course. Discard Force of Savagery. Doing its job. Hit our opponent down to 3. Pass the turn. Takes down the Nahiri, hits a Pack Rat. Another Nahiri, kills another Pack Rat. Arbor Elf. Well, let's attack Nahiri. Shows you the power of Pack Rat. We haven't been able to do anything, and we're still staying in it. Opponent blocks. Does not block. Does block. Does not block. Alright, goes with the no blocks. Well, we are going to discard a Lotlith Troll. Kill the Nahiri. Pass the turn. Still worried about Chandra. Chandra would be bad. And do they have the Chandra? Ral Zarek slowly fighting through Pack Rats. Taps and untaps. Noble Hierarch. One more card in hand. Noble Hierarch. Our opponent's going to go aggro. But then they have to block every Pack Rat every turn. So let's attack our opponent. Blocks and blocks. We discard Thoughtseize. Play Wooded Foothills. Pass the turn. Oh, we need our opponent to whiff for 1 or 2 turns. Or even just like semi-whiff, not draw anything insane. Alright, that's, Sylvan Caryatid is a whiff. It gives our opponent another blocker, but that's not that relevant. Pack Rat's so good. They go with the tap and untap plan. I guess they're trying to ultimate Ral as their plan. I don't think it's going to work though. Attack with everything at our opponent. And then discard Force of Savagery. Alright. Well, now our opponent doesn't even have the mana to cast a Chandra, so I think we got this. It'll take wins however you can get them against turn 2 Blood Moon. We had 1 actual mana that entire game. 1 black mana. And 1 Pack Rat was the only card we resolved. And our opponent played multiple Nahiris, a million Mana Dorks, a Ral. Oh my goodness. Well, that's Pack Rat. Alright, sideboarding against double Moonwalkers. Maelstrom Pulse seems good. Probably better than Abrupt Decay. And then maybe another Painful Truce. Go down the Inquisition. Let's try it like that. Alright, we can't keep 1 Ink Moth. I don't think we want Force now, though. We already have double Haunted Horror. No Mana Dork. That's interesting. Well, Overgrown Tomb tapped. Pass the turn. Forest for our opponent, and a Sylvan Caryatid. Well, Forest and Lotlith Troll. Our opponent did get to see a lot of our deck as we were discarding it. Opponent has a Xenagos the Reveler. Gonna start tokening it up. No attacks. We draw a Swamp. Attack Xenagos. Discard a Hunted Horror. Kill the Xenagos. Play an Ink Moth and pass the turn. Opponent, going for another Planeswalker, I assume, has the Nahiri. We're gonna kill our Troll. Yep, takes down our Troll. Gets in 4/2. Ugh, more lands. Alright, Ink Moth, attack Nahiri, down to 1. Another Ink Moth, pass the turn. Takes up Nahiri, discards a Emrakul, shuffles the graveyard back in. Our opponent has an all-foil double moon deck. Whoa! Nahiri's everywhere! Moto, what are you doing? Oh, Moto. Oh my god. Well, I think we need to Painful Truce X2. Oh my god. Activate the Ink Moth. Yeah, we're very dead this game. Attack Nahiri. Is there any way of winning if we draw a Virals? 1, 2, 3, 1. So I guess our best chance of winning is draw Virals and put a bunch of counters on an Ink Moth. Maybe we should be playing to that as an out. Makes a token from Nahiri number 2. Loots with Nahiri number 1. Nahiri number 2, also known as Nissa. Westville Abbey, getting pretty close to doing things. Opponent hits us down to 12. We get... And not the most opportune time to draw Force of Savagery. Activate an Ink Moth. Activate an Ink Moth. This time we are going to send both at our opponent. We're not going to kill the Planeswalkers. Overgrown Tomb tapped. Pass the turn. So I think we have a 1-turn window to draw Virals and potentially win. They make a token, so they can Westville Abbey if they want to. Loots with Nahiri. Discards a land. I kind of want them to play another Planeswalker to see if it is also a Nahiri. Nykthos, not really adding mana at the moment. Makes a token with Nissa. And there's a transformation. So we're live. We're live to Virals to win this game by putting all of our counters on an Ink Moth. Do we draw it? We have 1 turn to draw exactly Virals. Come on, deck. Oh, it's a Thoughtseize. Alright. Well, now we're dead. We could have Virals'd up the Ink Moth, but no Virals this time around. Yeah, let's just run it back. I think we just kind of flooded out a bit. Alright, we can play first here. Game 3 against Double Moonwalkers. Alright, I mean, we got Packrat. Verdant Catacombs, go. And Packrat was really good the first game. Temple Garden, untapped, and Birds of Paradise. Alright, let's crack Verdant Catacombs. Grab a Swamp. Ooh, Ledgewalker. Well, let's just Packrat and hope we draw land. This is a really good hand if we draw another land or two. Oath of Nissa for our opponent. Finds a Sylvan Caryatid. Nykthos plays the Caryatid. Do we draw land? The question of the match. If we draw land, I think we're in good shape. Come on, deck. Oh, Dismember. Not a land. Well, I think we just Dismember the Birds of Paradise. They do, but it's a Westville Abbey. Does this mean Planeswalker, Arbor Elf? And opponent passes. Come on, land. Lotleth Troll. Alright. I mean, Lotleth Troll is good, but it's not doing what we need to do. Pass the turn. Untaps. And there's the Doubling Season, which might mean we're dead next turn. There's a land, but it's probably a little too late, because we're just dead to a Planeswalker. Well, let's go attacking. Discard the Hunted Horror. Discard the Ledgewalker. Discard the Force of Savagery. Hit our opponent down to 12. Play Virals. Pass the turn. So we should be able to kill our opponent next turn, but any Planeswalker is pretty much game over. We were like just drew the land too late. We had to wait till turn 5 to get our 3rd land. And there's a Jace, and that's the game. This deck is so sweet, too. Aye. Alright, against odds time. Looking to throw some Force of Savageries to their doom, so we can Virals them. Yeah, this is fine. Got an Ink Moth, Abrupt Decay. Yeah, this is a reasonable hand. Our opponent's going to 5, going to 4. And they're going to get Thoughtseize on turn 1. Windswept. Crack it. Overgrown Tomb, untapped. And Thoughtseize. See what our opponent's got going on. Court of Calling, Heritage Druid. Let's just take Heritage Druid. Chords are not very good without creatures. Forest for our opponent. And passes. Well, Godless Shrine, untapped. And a Lotleth Troll. Opponent finds another Forest. Elvish Mystic. Ooh, we get a Packrat. Well, I think the safest thing to do is just Abrupt Decay the Elvish Mystic. Get in with the Lotleth Troll. We won't discard anything. Play Ink Moth, pass the turn. So we just want to kill our opponent before they can draw out of where they're at. Elvish Visionary is a pretty good draw for them. Hissing Quagmire. Well, let's attack with Lotleth Troll. Now, let's just discard the Thrun. I think that's fine. Put our opponent down to 15. Packrat, Hissing Quagmire, pass the turn. Forest for our opponent. Ooh, Lead the Stampede is a pretty good draw. That is going to help undo their mulligan. Archdruid, Llanowar Elves, Reclamation Sage. Along with 2 Chords of Calling. Is it enough? Ooh, there's the Virals too. Well, let's attack with both. Yeah, sorry, Vrals. Hit our opponent for 5, down to 10, and then pass the turn. We just gotta kill them before they can recover. They get another land, so they can Llanowar Elves into Archdruid. There's Llanowar Elves. There's Archdruid. And they're gonna attack. Ooh, alright. We get a Hunted Horror. Oh, now I kinda wish we had Vrals. So 3, 4, 5. Well, let's attack with everything. I think this forces our opponent to block, or else they will die. They do not block. So yeah, this does it. Since we do another creature, we get to discard the Lotleth Troll and then discard Hunted Horror for Xaxes. Well, we can beat elves when they mull to 4, and we thought seize them to nothing on turn 1. So, good to know. Probably more Abrupt Decays are important. Go down a couple Hunted Horrors. Probably go down Thought Seizes. Bring in the Third Inquisition. It kind of forces our opponent to have the Rex Sage. Let's try it like that. Alright, I guess this is fine. Cavern of Souls. On Elf, I'm sure. And Llanowar. Well, Overgrown Tomb, tapped. Pass the turn. Llanowar Waste. Ooh, Archdruid. Oh, Kitchen Finks. Alright. That's fine. Well, let's just Verdant Catacombs, pass, and leave up Abrupt Decay. Opponent gets in for 3, down to 17. Oh, Mono Kitchen Finks? That is not what I expected from elves. Let's just get an Overgrown Tomb tapped. Swamp, and I guess we play our Vrals. We don't have a good way to discard anything yet, but definitely going to bring in Scavenging Ooze now that we've seen double Kitchen Finks. Opponent gets in for 6. That's a lot of damage. Forest, and there's the Archdruid. Well, I guess we just play the Troll. Godless Shrine tapped and pass the turn. Yeah, I think we just lose to Kitchen Finks. Another Cavern. Elvish Visionary. Yeah, our opponent's gonna have a ton of mana. Dwynnian's Elite. Lead the Stampede. Azuri, Visionary, Llanowar Elves. There's not really any getting out of it. Alright, that's fine. We bring in our Scavenging Ooze over the Ledge Walker and just run it back. Ugh, this hand, no interaction. I think we got a mulligan. Alright, I guess this is better than the last one. On top we have a Troll Aesthetic. I think we'll put that to the bottom. Overgrown Tomb, untapped, and Inquisition. Elite, Archdruid, Azuri, Finks. Well, I think Archdruid is the scariest of those cards. Forest, and passes. Well, Windswept Heath, crack Windswept Heath, get a Forest, and Pack Rat. Ship the turn, Pendlehaven for our opponent. And Elvish Visionary draws a card. Oh, I want to start making rats, but I think we need to Inquisition that Azuri. Inquisition, take the Azuri, Overgrown Tomb, tapped, pass the turn. Forest for our opponent. There's Llanowar Elves, and the Elite. Gets in 4-1. We draw land, so let's just Windswept Heath and pass the turn. Start making some rats. Nykthos, not adding mana yet. There's the Kitchen Finks. And our opponent gets in some damage. We can't really do anything about it yet because of Pendlehaven. So we take our beats down to 10. Pitch, Force, serving its purpose well. Crack Windswept Heath, get a Temple Garden, tapped. There's Vrals. Yeah, let's play the land and pass. Leave up the rat making ability. Opponent attacks with Finks. Alright, we gotta take our beats from Finks, unfortunately. Down to 6. Another Finks. And passes. Hopefully they do not have Court of Falling, or we're just dead. Make another rat. Draw a rat. I guess there's no reason not to discard it. It's better to have it in the graveyard in case we get a Vrals down. See what our opponent has. Oh my god. Well, they peeled the second Azuri. Yep, that does it. Alright, against odds time, playing some Force of Savagery in Modern. Alright, this is pretty reasonable. So, Overgrown Tomb, go. We just need to, draw some more Force of Savageries. Alright, Swamp, go. Opponent cracks Polluted Delta. Gets a Steam Vents, tapped. Another Steam Vents, also tapped. All the Force of Savageries. Well, let's just Painful Truce X2. Haunted Horror and Pack Rat. No 4th land, though. Swamp. So our opponent looks to be Grixis control. Oh, Grixis Delver. Delver and Young Pyromancer. Well, this is not looking too exciting. Let's just pulse the Young Pyromancer past the turn. Does Delver flip? It does not. Oy, more Delvers. Yeah, we might die to Delvers. Gets in 4-1. Well, let's Lotless Troll. See if this draws out a remand. Oh, Spell Snare, even worse. Oh, Spell Snare. At least with remand we could have recast it. Delvers. Oh, flip. Oh my god. Our opponent even gets to probe and see our hand, and we are going to be a bit too slow. I guess there's like some... No. We're dead in 2 turns to Delvers. Yeah, we're just dead. Very, very dead. Doesn't even probe. And, alright. Let's scoop it up. That did not go very well. Delver is pretty annoying. Well, we get Abrupt Decays, which are good. We also get Worships, which are probably game-winning if we get one down with a hexproof creature. Inquisition over Thoughtseize. And then let's just cut Hunted Horrors and try it like that. Alright, we got a Dismember and a Pack Rat. No discard, though. Well, let's Verdant Catacombs go. Polluted Delta for our opponent. Now, let's crack Catacombs. Get a Overgrown Tomb. Tapped. Forest and Lotless Troll. Do they have a Spell Snare? Looks like the answer is most likely yes. There's a Spell Snare. Spell Snare is pretty good against us. Bloodstained Mire, and our opponent passes. Well, let's just Temple Garden and pass. Would be nice if we could play and resolve the Pack Rat and discard something on the same turn. Or draw like some discard to clear the way or something. Polluted Delta, opponent passes. Verdant Catacombs, and pass the turn. Well, that's the second black source we needed, so hopefully next turn will be the Pack Rat turn. Steam Vents, tapped. Will also depend on our opponent not having a counter. Opponent passes. Well, let's crack Catacombs, get a Swamp. Well, I guess we go for it. So let's Inkmoth Nexus and Pack Rat. Do they have another Spell Snare or a Snapcaster for the Spell Snare? They remand it. Alright, let's just pass. We don't want to expose it to a burn spell, if we can help it. Opponent passes. We get another Troll. Well, let's Pack Rat. Opponent remands. Let's crack Windswept Heath. Overgrown Tomb, untapped. And Lotless Troll. Oh my god. Every remand in the deck. And that means we gotta pass. Serum Visions. Digging for land. Finds a Misty Rainforest, passes. Let's Pack Rat. Resolves, finally. Then we'll just play a forest and pass the turn. Start ratting it up. Lightning Bolt, well, we will discard a Force of Savagery. Good job, Force. Doing your job well. Kills the Pack Rat. Alright, they had double bolt. They find another land, Misty. Well, let's lead on Painful Truce X3. Opponent cracks their Misty. Alright, resolves. Then we'll play Windswept Heath and Lotless Troll. Their opponent goes with Snapcaster Mage for the Spell Snare. Alright, I guess we can just play the Ledgewalker and pass the turn. At the very least, it lets us block Snapcaster, which we might have to do so we don't die to getting burnt out. Cracks Misty. If we draw Varals, though, Selena Ledgewalker would be awesome, but we still have the Inkmoth to put counters on, potentially. And we have a bunch of removal, which is also good. When it attacks with Snapcaster, yeah, let's block and kill it. Craig Windswept Heath, get a Godless Shrine, tapped. That's another Pack Rat. Well, let's Pack Rat and pass the turn. We actually can discard twice to Pack Rat, which might just win us the game. They're going to need a lot of ways to kill Pack Rat. They go with Snapcaster, targeting a Lightning Bolt. Alright, well, we will discard a Dismember, make another Rat. Opponent cracks Polluted Delta, Steam Vents, untapped. Uh-oh. They have another Snapcaster, just mono Snapcaster hand. Kolaghan's Command, return a creature, Snapcaster, and deal 2 damage. Yikes. Well, I guess we're going to lose our Pack Rat, unfortunately. So let's just dismember the Delver. One of our hexproof creatures would be really good. Probes, seize the Pulse. They play the Snapcaster, assuming this is Kolaghan's Command. Yep. Gonna make us discard our Pulse. And get back Delver. Plays Delver. Well, we need a good draw. We don't have many lands left. So hopefully we draw some action here. Or another Ink Moth. Pass the turn. That's not really what we wanted. Delver does not flip. Opponent goes attacking with everything. Well, let's activate an Ink Moth and kill the Delver. Down to 5. Are we going to get burnt out? Tasigur. Oh, God. Activates Tasigur. Gets back a Gitaxian Probe. Probes. We get another Ink Moth. Alright, now I think we're dead. I mean, we'll play it out, but we're essentially dead. Pass the turn. We've drawn way more lands than we really wanted to. Activates Tasigur. Back Delver of Secrets. Activates Tasigur. Gets back Gurmag Angler. Opponent goes attacking. We need to block with an Ink Moth just to stay alive. Drop to 1. And we gotta draw Vrals to have any shot. Troll Static. Would Vrals have done it? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it wouldn't have won us the game anyway. Aye! Alright. Ground out by Grixis Delver. Alright, against the odds. Playing some Force of Savagery in Modern. And we'll keep this. Wooded Foothills for our opponent. Cracks it. Stomping Grounds. Untapped, and Insolent Neonate. So this looks to be Dredge. Let's just go Windswept Heath and pass. Opponent sacks the Neonate, discards a life from the loam, and a prized amalgam. Alright, dredges some more, gets a Bloodghast, which will get back the prized amalgam. We don't especially have Graveyard Hate. Faithless Looting, discards a Conflagrate and the Grave Troll for major dredging in the future. Bloodghast comes back into play, which also gets back prized Amalgam at the end of turn. Crack Windswept Heath, get a Godless Shrine, tapped. Forest, and Lotless Troll. Ship the turn. Opponent dredges the Grave Troll, gets another Grave Troll. Can we even block here? We can block and discard a bunch of stuff, but then we potentially lose our Troll. I don't think we can take the chance. I think we just got to take the hit for now. Next turn we can leave up Regeneration. Plus they would just get stuff back anyway. Loam's back some lands. Stomping Grounds, tapped. Let's play the Swamp. How do we win this game? We can Painful Truce. Well, let's just pass and block. The problem is they're going to have a huge Conflagrate. Opponent untaps, dredges, gets another Bloodghast, another prized Amalgam. Flashes back a Faithless Looting. Blood Crypt gets back 2 Bloodghasts, which gets back another prized Amalgam. Goes to attacks. Swings with both. Well, we block prized Amalgam. Discard Force of Savagery. Good job, Force of Savagery. And then we'll just regenerate our Lotless Troll. Still think we're dead next turn. Gets back the prized Amalgam. We get a Troll Aesthetic. Well, play Forest. Well, let's Painful Truce. See what we happen to draw. I don't think it matters. Yep, alright. That's the game. So, Scavenging Ooze, Nile Spellbomb, Surgical Extraction, and Worships going down. Our discard, I think, is pretty bad. And even just our targeted removal is not that great. Let's go down the Dismembers. And run it like that. Hopefully draw some sideboard cards. We have Force of Savagery, but I don't think this hand can beat Dredge in a million years. I don't know if this hand is more likely to beat Dredge. Zero Lander. Alright. Well, that was a fun one. Maybe I should have kept at 6. I just don't think that hand can beat their deck. But this hand is not going to win. Even if we draw one of our Graveyard Hate spells, it is unlikely to win. Blood Crypt and Thoughtseize. Alright, well, that is fine. Oh, against the odds Moldifor. Well, we did draw Surgical Extraction. That's something. Wooded Foothills for our opponent. And passes. They must have a pretty bad hand. I guess maybe we could have kept one of our bad hands, since their hand is also apparently pretty bad. Overgrown Tomb tapped, passed the turn. Opponent Thoughtseizes. Well, there goes our Surgical Extraction. Copperline Gorge. Alright, let's crack this. Get a Temple Garden, tapped. I mean, we can play Pack Rat. It's a card we can play. Probably will die to something, and we can't activate it yet. Our opponent's hand has been really super slow. Just hard cast the Bloodghast. Well, now there's a chance we just draw land and win with Pack Rat. Attack with Pack Rat. Oh, we're sort of doing it. Get in for 2. Our opponent can't block. Opponent's down to 10. Oh, are we going to win a Multifor? Oh, it's really looking like it could happen. It actually could be happening. Opponent plays a Stinkweed Imp. Well, let's just pass the turn for now. I don't really want to put the Stinkweed Imp in our opponent's graveyard. I'd rather just keep making rats and then eventually swing for lethal in one shot. Opponent gets a Faithless Looting. Alright. Double Prized Amalgam discarded. Another Faithless Looting. Still no Dredger discarded, though. Grave Troll and a 3rd Prized Amalgam. Tap land. Alright. Make a rat. Hunted Horror. So if we attack now, they block. I think we wait one more turn. They don't have a Dredger. Yeah, let's just pass one more time. Because the Prized Amalgams enter the battlefield tapped, so even if they find a way to get it back, which they do, they're all going to be tapped. Now let's see what our opponent has. Man, if we had our Surgical Extraction, we would be 100% to win this game. Flashes back looting. Oh, we still might be getting there. Oh, no! Oh! They dredged another Narcomoeba. So now we aren't winning. They have just enough chump blockers to stay alive. And an Insolent Neonate. Alright, they found enough chump blockers. Opponent passes. Discard Hunted Horror. Get another rat. What could we draw? Do we still have Maelstrom Pulse? If we draw our one of Maelstrom Pulse for the Narcomoebas, then we win. Verdant Catacombs. Alright, I guess we just pass and play defense. Flashes back Faithless Looting. Dredges, hits another Narcomoeba, which gets back another Prized Amalgam. Hits all the Narcomoebas. Oh, if they hadn't hit our Surgical Extraction, so many things. If it went slightly another direction, we would have won this Multifor. Gets back to another Prized Amalgam. Well, we make another rat. We draw land. Play Verdant Catacombs, pass the turn. I guess it's also possible our opponent dredges themselves to death if they're not alert. Opponent probably starts attacking with flyers. Attacks with their Prized Amalgams and Blood Gas? Well, I guess we kill them all. Loams back some lands. Does this kill all of our rats? 2 damage, 3 damage. So we make a rat, this dies, this dies, this dies. That is the game. Oh, Lord. We were so close. So close to winning the Multifor. Against odds time. Force of Savagery in Modern, and we're not keeping 6 lands with a troll. We will keep this hand, and not keep the troll since we can't really cast it. Bloodstain Mire for our opponent. Cracks it. Stomping Grounds. Untapped. And a Monastery Swift Spear. Alright, so this looks like Death Shadow, most likely. Opponent gets to probe. See our Force of Savagery. Bobble. Pumps up the Swift Spear. And gets in 4-3. Down to 17. We get a Pack Rat. Interesting. Let's just Verdant Catacombs and pass the turn. Leave up the ability to dismember if we need to. Wild Nicottle. And our opponent gets in 4-1 with the Swift Spear. Down to 16. Alright, let's crack this. Get a Forest. And we're just going to dismember to kill the Nicottle. Alright, let's play the Swamp. Alright, let's play Pack Rat. I don't think we're going to die this turn. Not cracking our Bobble for some reason. Seems like they just want to crack it right away. Cycles a Street Wraith down to 13. And gets in 4-1. We drop to 10. And opponent passes. We get a Troll. Well, let's just play Windswept Teeth and pass the turn for now. Hopefully be able to start making rats. Discarding our Force. Doing its job of getting to the graveyard well. If they attack, we just take it, I think. Alright, attacks for 1. Sure. Down to 9. Crack Windswept Teeth. Get a Forest. And discard a Force of Savagery. Good job, Force of Savagery. Congratulations. Well, let's... Oh, do we want to attack? That would let them play a Death Shadow. Well, they're going to be able to play it anyway. Cycle Street Wraith. Yeah, let's attack with 1 rat. Put our opponent down to 9. Play a Godless Shrine, tapped, and pass the turn. Well, our opponent's kind of got to kill us this turn. And I don't understand why they wouldn't sack the Mishra's Bauble. Why they're not doing anything. Alright, we will take one. Become immense. Alright, that means we need to just abrupt decay. So we don't win this coming turn, but we should win the turn after that. Inkmoth. Well, let's Inkmoth, play Lotlith Troll, discard the Catacombs, get another rat, put our opponent down to 3, and just pass. If our opponent can somehow deal 8 damage, I have no clue why they haven't sacked that Mishra's Bauble. That's kind of driving me insane, why they wouldn't sack the Mishra's Bauble. I don't think they have enough mana to win is their problem. They can't get an untapped Shockland, and they realize that they can't get a untapped Shockland. They might have 0 basics in their deck, honestly. Sideboarding-wise, Abrupt Decays seem helpful, and Worships, if we can get them down, seem pretty much unbeatable. Going down, let's see, let's go down Thought Seizes. We could bring in the Inquisition over the Thought Seizes, so we're not taking the damage. We'll go down Ledgewalker, a couple of Haunted Horrors, a Painful Truce, and run it like that? Well, if we live long enough and can get our forces in the graveyard, we can make things huge. We got the Virals and double 4s. The Wombo combo is achieved. Gitaxian Probe takes a peek at our hand. The only downside is we don't have any real reach. Thoughtseize, I'm sure takes Abrupt Decay. Yep. Well, our opponent's all the way down to 13, so we can't really punish our opponent for going super low on life. Overgrown Tomb, tapped. Dismember was a pretty good draw, though. Verdant Catacombs, cracks Verdant Catacombs. Untapped, down to 10. Nicottle, and there's the Death Shadow. And opponent passes. Well, good news is we get to Dismember Death Shadow, and it should actually work, since even if they can cycle a Street Wraith, it's still gonna die. Alright, so that worked. Managed to kill the Death Shadow. Godless Shrine, tapped. So opponents decide to stop losing life. Gets in 4-3 with Nicottle. Are they going to become immense or something? They just go with Vines. Alright, we take 7 down to 9. Play the Forest. Play Virals. Pass the turn. If we had a way to discard our Force of Savagery, this would be much better. Right now we're stuck casting it, which is just slow. Cycle Street Wraith. Thought Seizes. Come on, take a Force of Savagery. Take a Force of Savagery. That would be so sweet. They did! Whoa! Okay. Well, I think they have become immense, though. If we block, that just buys us another turn, and then we play the Virals. If we don't block, and they don't have become immense, then we get to scavenge onto the Virals? Alright, let's block. We could draw an Abrupt Decay or a Dismember, and then problem solved. Also, our opponent could play their last card, and then we won't be worrying about it. All we need to do is one time Force of Savagery onto our Virals, and we can win. Alright, there it goes. We draw Windswept Heath. Well, play Virals number 2. Windswept Heath, pass the turn. Death Shadow for our opponent. That's actually pretty bad. Opponent attacks. This time, we just gotta take it. We can't play around it. And apparently they did not have it. Alright, let's crack Windswept Heath down to 5. We're dead to a bolt in an attack anyway. Get a Godless Shrine. Draw an Inkmoth, which is actually interesting. So that's Force of Savagery. Actually, no. Play the Inkmoth. Force of Savagery on our Virals. Attack. Well, we got the combo. We actually did something with Force of Savagery. It happened. Our Virals is a 10-10. Representing lethal damage, forcing our opponent most likely to block with their Death Shadow. There's the block. Death Shadow down. Alright, pass the turn. Man, we could have won if we just went for it that other turn, I think. I think we're still okay-ish, though. Swift Spear. Hopefully our opponent does not have a bolt. Mishra's Bauble is our opponent's last card. They can't attack with both, though, or they die. Alright. We activate our Inkmoth. And our opponent scoops it up! Force of Savagery! Doing its job from the graveyard for the win. Yes! Oh, man. man. One of the jankier ways to win, but we got there. So, what did we learn this week? Well, I think there were two things that really stood out to me. First off, as far as our namesake card, Force of Savagery, it did do its job very well. It died very efficiently. It was good to discard to some of our other cards. And eventually, we actually got in the situation where we won a game because we managed to scavenge it onto another creature and attack for a ton of damage thanks to the huge power and toughness boost. So, in theory, it did work. It didn't work as often as I would have liked, but then we're looking to draw like one playset of a specific card in Virals combined with another specific card in Force of Savagery and have like the game last long enough to get everything together. So it's not a huge surprise that it didn't work as often as I would have liked. On the other hand, Pack Rat is insane. Absolutely insane. We had, out of our wins, we won 4 games, and one of them we won purely because of Force of Savagery and scavenging it onto a creature with Virals. The other 3 were almost 100% because of Pack Rat. There were some games where we just play Pack Rat on turn 2 and discard a card every turn and win the game. We almost beat Dredge on a mull to 4. 100% due to Pack Rat. We mulled to 4, eventually got a Pack Rat, started discarding, and that was almost good enough on the mull to 4 to win the game. So Pack Rat is super absurd, and I'm wondering why no one really plays Pack Rat in Modern, because it's a card that can just take over the game on its own. It is pretty hard to deal with, and the opportunity cost is pretty low as a 2-drop, so I was super, super impressed with Pack Rat. It just seemed really insane. As I mentioned, though, overall, we went 4 wins out of 14 games, which puts our game win percentage at 28%, give or take, which is a little bit less than my optimistic 40% prediction. We only managed to win 1 match against Death Shadow Zoo, but still, we won a match, we won some games, and it was pretty sweet. The idea of this deck is pretty sweet, and I think as far as building around a 0 toughness creature, Force of Savagery, this is about as good as it gets. I really think that this plan is better than the play a bunch of anthems and try to make it work, as I mentioned in the intro, just because I still think it'll just die to everything and won't be that good. So I think this is the way to go. Whether this is the best possible build of it, we did run into some clunkiness where we would draw the wrong half of our deck. We would draw a bunch of Hunted Horrors in Force of Savageries and not ever find a Virals, or we would draw the Virals and never find a Hunted Horror Force of Savagery and not really have anything good to scavenge. We also ran into some problems where we didn't have creatures on the battlefield to save our Virals from a lightning bolt or something, so maybe a legitimate Abzan build instead of just splashing white for the worship, which never actually did anything, but maybe going full-on Abzan for like lingering souls to sack to the Virals to keep it alive while we're trying to set up the combo. Maybe something like that would be even better. But I think the deck was pretty fun, and it was it was fun to play, and eventually getting the scavenge with Force of Savagery made all the losing worthwhile, and Pack Rat, as I mentioned, is just absurd. So play Pack Rat, it is insane. Anyway, that's been our Against the Odds for this week. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, take a minute, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. That would be awesome of you. Anyway, thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.